All right, welcome to Terry Rosen Podcast. Right now, this is the Black History Month edition of Terry Rosen Podcast, and we want to celebrate Black history. We also want to give our people some tools to create Black history as well. So today we're going to talk about scaling the business. A lot of people struggle for making their side hustles legit, and then once they do make them legit, they have trouble scaling. So we know people who have businesses who they might be in business for 10 years and still kind of at that same level. You know what I'm saying? They might be struggling. They might not be struggling. They might be doing very well, but they might have that restaurant that's booming, but they never go to get the next restaurant or go to get the next thing. And or they might not be, it might be because they're not managing the money right. It might be because they just not interested in growth. You know what I'm saying? It could be a million reasons why, but today we're going to discuss how to scale a business and take it from something small to something huge. And we got the guy to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Sir.
I couldn't think of nobody else in Chicago better to talk to than this guy right here. So we'll let you introduce yourself.
What's going on? My name is Weaver, the owner of Pillars. That's pretty much it.
All right, so Pillars. Let us know. Pillars is a fashion line, and it's the first line that I've seen in Chicago. Growing up on Fashion Geek, growing up on Fly, growing up on Leaders. You know what I'm saying? It's one of the ones that I seen just go like, for one, it seemed like it just came out of nowhere and it was just like boom, like it was just here.
Yep.
But even just seeing it go from one store to what is it, four?
4 stores.
To four stores in the last 2 years.
2 years.
Like that's different. You know what I'm saying? That's not something you see every day. So what's some of the keys to forget all that? Let's go back to where it started at.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Okay.
let's go back to where it started. Like, what's the idea behind it and everything like that?
So, how deep you want to go back to?
I'm talking about to the bare root beginning.
Right.
Like,
Okay.
what even made you want to do fashion?
So, I was always in a position to where I had to produce to earn income.
Right.
So like if you're getting paid on commission, you're a car salesman, you're a loan officer, you're a real estate agent. You know, like those are people that's quote unquote entrepreneurs, but they work under an umbrella of, a company. So
Right.
when I was in the workforce, those were the things that I was doing. It was a lot of commission based jobs, like super small salaries and then the opportunity to earn more.
Right.
So that was my core in terms of how to make money. So I was never able to just be like, all right, cool, I got a gig, I make $70,000, $80,000. I just got to clock in and I'm straight.
Right.
So
You can do the bare minimum.
right?
So
I always had to go out and get it. So I'm like, well, I gotta go out and get it anyway. So
Right.
I might as well go out and get it in the way that I can potentially make more and have a better time doing it. So that was always in my mind. I end up leaving the workforce just on some I can make more money on my own.
Right.
I was at this time I had just graduated college. I went, got an entry level job for a couple years. Then I started playing poker heavy, something that I picked up in college.
Hold on. What was the first job?
First job out of college.
First job out of college. Facts.
Dang, what was my first job out of college, man? I think I was selling cable, door to door cable.
Okay.
Right. So you already know, you know what I'm saying? Like door to door cable. You know
a lot of rejection.
Like, yes, rejection. But
yeah.
But all those jobs really, man, they teach you a lot, you know what I'm saying, those concepts. And I knew that I wasn't gonna be in those positions for a long time, but the stuff that they kind of put on you, you know what I'm saying, I'm trying to teach you and put inside you, you know what I'm saying, you could use today. So first job straight out of college, because when I graduated college, I wasn't looking for a job, right? Even that last year when everybody's securing jobs, I'm like, I'm not working.
Right.
I'm like, oh, I'm going to play poker, you know what I'm saying? And I'm going to just kind of do my own thing. And then right when I graduated, that's when I started looking around and everybody was getting jobs. And I'm like, man, I might need to get, you know what I'm saying, second guessing myself. Facts. So I'm like, man, I might, you know what I'm saying, I might need to get a job real quick. So by that time, it's kind of too late. I tried to use my resources for the people that I knew in the workforce. All that stuff fell through. People like, oh, I can get you a job, XYZ.
Facts.
All that stuff fell through. So, you know what I'm saying, I had to pick up an entry-level job, which they make it sound good on paper. Then when you get there, it ain't really what you expect. So, you know what I'm saying, I'm selling door-to-door cable.
Facts.
First job.
Yeah, and I think it's crazy because like right now I'm finding ads for the podcast, and it's kind of like a door to door type of thing. Like literally any business I walk in, I'm like, hey, do y'all need promotion? I see y'all hiring, so you know what I'm saying. Whether y'all need to get people in here to work, or whether y'all need to get more customers in here, I could run ads on my podcast and do
Right.
X Y Z. Woo woo.
Right.
So it's like the rejection side of it is like a piece that people always be like, you know, I would be kind of scared to just
Yeah.
come at a motherfucker. And I'm like, I look at it like practice.
Yeah, it is
'Cause
practice, and that's what they teach you,
yeah,
man. So it's actually it's science behind it with like sales, right? So
okay,
the deeper you get into sales, it's science based and it's number based, right?
okay,
So emotions is just totally out of it, right? So
right,
they'll tell you if I have an equation, every 10 no's you get one yes. You know you have to ask 11 people something for you to get a sale,
right,
right? So then it's like if I know out of 11 people I'm gonna get a sale, I'm in a rush to ask as many people as I can, right?
right,
So even though you're a no, you're still a part of my equation to get closer to the yes. So I
right,
gotta ask you, and you have to say no so I can get closer to my yes. So it's cool when you say no because I
facts.
know, like, okay, now I only gotta ask 5 more people.
Yeah,
Then the fourth one comes, it's a no. Now I only gotta ask 3 more people. So
yeah,
that's the science of it.
yeah. So I never knew that. I never knew that. That's a new one to me. I think in my mind, I was looking at it like, all right, if they say no, it's just a practice for how I could come different, so the next person could say yes.
Right.
So I'm gonna go in, and this time I'm gonna ask, do they need promo? All right, that ain't working. Like, damn, I don't even know if he was the manager. He might
Right.
just work here. Of course, that nigga gonna say no.
Right.
So
And
next time, let me ask for this person. You know what I'm
right.
saying? So
Decision
it's
maker is
just
what they
like,
call it.
yeah,
Right. So it's a whole script, and that's the stuff that they kind of tell you when you in sales, high level sales. You know what I'm
right,
saying, at an entry level position. But what you're talking about is a decision maker, right? So say I knock on your door and you're not the decision maker. Your mom pays the cable bill, right?
right,
So I need to know, like, okay, who is the person that makes the decision, right? If you're married, you're gonna say, oh, I gotta ask my wife. You know what I'm saying?
mm-hmm.
Or oh, I gotta speak to my husband. You know what I mean? So like all that kind of stuff is gonna let you know like if you're talking to the person that you need to talk to, and then obviously like I said, just knowing your numbers in terms of statistics, right? Every 10 no's is a yes. You know what I mean? So once you understand that dynamic of your approach, then it's gonna be easy to navigate it, and it's not personal. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? You know, like 10 people gonna say no for you to get your yes.
All right, so
So
that's y'all entrepreneur tip of the day right there, man. You need 10 no's to get to a yes. So
well,
keep that in mind.
not everybody, but I'm just saying for that situation, every
Yeah,
number be different, right? So you
right,
know what I mean, it could be 3, you know what I mean, it could be
right.
whatever it is, but you got to make it make sense in terms of what it is that you're doing, and then
Yeah,
obviously as you get better at it, it'll adjust. So you might only need 4 no's, you know what I mean? Where
yeah,
when you first started, it was 10 because you know how to find a decision maker, you know how to get over rebuttals, you know how to close, you know what I mean? Like you're
yeah.
more confident in whatever it is that you're doing. So that number will change, but the idea and the statistics will go along with it.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, so the end of the day is just keep trying. Shit, you know what
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah.
So the initial idea from Pillars, where did that come from?
I always knew like, man, I want to start something.
Right.
Right. So that was the first thing. It was never like, okay, I want to get into clothes. It was like, man, I need to create revenue. I need to generate income. You know what I'm saying? I want to kind of create a system of my own that I can do that. So like I said, I went and did the work thing. I quickly realized like the money wasn't where it's at. So I actually went on vacation one holiday, and I was playing poker like that whole week, and end up making like pretty much my salary of that year.
Damn.
So never came back, right? So at that point, I was like, wait, I was on the right track the first time. Let me just stay on this.
Right.
So I did that. It was cool. Ran it up for like a year and a half, and then fell on my face. So I had went broke.
Yeah.
So then I had to go back to work. So that's when I was like, okay, cool. Let me go back to creating something that's gonna be sustainable. Cause I mean, the poker stuff, gambling is sustainable, but you can only take care of yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
And my goal was to really help a lot of other people too, cause I could generate money for myself, but being able to put my people on was something like it's no fun if I'm the only one that can do it, right?
Right. Right.
Or
Yeah.
I'm the only one with the free time. I'm on only one with the finances. So that's
Yeah.
what motivated me more to like create a system where I can get more people involved and they could flourish as well.
Facts. 'Cause so basically, you saying you got the free time, you got the money, you ready to take a trip, and your homies like,
Yeah,
man, we
whatever it
broke, we
is,
ain't got
right.
no time, we got to go to work. So it's
Exactly.
like you down there like on some loner shit.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly.
So
So
you trying to put the whole team in position. That makes sense.
yeah. So that was the first plan was, man, I just want to create something.
Right.
So initially it was supposed to be a shoe store, just
Okay.
shoes. You know what I mean? So like I had always been into shoes, selling shoes, not really so much, but buying shoes, but I didn't have the finances or the connections to do it.
Mhm.
You know, and at that time I definitely didn't have the finances to do it or the connections. You know what I mean? I could get myself a pair of shoes. Like,
Right.
oh, you got, you know what I mean, the news Jordans come out. I got one, but I ain't got 100 or 200 of them to, you know, feed the
Right.
community. So I quickly realized that that was way out of my league, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying, at that time. So then I went into like, okay, cool, I'm going to sell hats. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? Played around with some hat designs, some mock ups, stuff like that. Never really pulled the trigger on it.
Yeah.
So, you know, we actually, it took me 2 years to go into business because I didn't even have a name.
Okay.
And I tell people that all the time, like, that was critical timing that I lost, you know what I'm saying, just because I didn't know what to call it.
Right.
And I kind of regret
For
that.
2 years?
2 years, because it's like, you know, you don't want to start. You like, oh, nah, like, what we going to call it? What we going to call it? It's me and my buddy. And I'm just like, man, I don't know. We would kind of just bounce names off each other. And we was doing that for 2 years.
Damn. 'Cause I feel like if you bounce names for an hour, you'll be like, all right, that's the one.
Nah, I mean, you be like, so
and y'all
yeah.
just didn't agree?
No, that's true. Because you'll be like, yeah, that's decent. And we kind of write it down. And then you'll be like, nah, that's not it. You know what I'm saying? So we have a list of like decent names. But it was never nothing that stuck.
Right.
And the crazy part is, we never really picked a name. I got forced into it. You know what I mean? So it was a trade show that I tell everybody about. I think I told you about it. It's called Magic.
Okay.
The agenda trade show where you go and you source, you know, all the things that you're looking for. So I had to create the business, actually put it on paper, right? So get the licenses, get all the back end stuff situated. So I'm sitting down with my lawyer who helped me kind of put everything together, and he was like, "What you gonna call it? What's the name of the business?" And I'm just like, I don't know, just call it, you know, XYZ Enterprises until, you know, I kind of get that figured out, and then we'll go back and it'll be an umbrella type of situation, right? So say you didn't have a name, you just wanted to call it first name, last name, Enterprises, and then everything can operate under that, right? Just for accounting purposes and legal purposes. But he was like, no, we're not doing that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He's like, give me a name. So I literally, at that point, I pull out my phone and I go through the list, and I'm just like, all right, Pillars.
Right.
So at that time, it was Pillars Fashion Club. Like, I got forced into picking a name.
How much do you feel like the name matter now? Looking back on it, like, do you feel like it could have been anything and y'all would have got the same result?
It could have been anything because at that point it didn't matter.
Right.
It only means something to the people that it means something to. Like I tell people all the time, meaning is subjective. You know what I'm saying? Like, not to say that having a story doesn't equate, but you kind of write your own story.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So when I was picking that name, it literally meant nothing. Like it could have been any other thing, but as it grew and as we continued to go on, it developed a meaning. You know what I mean? Which people kind of feel attached to now, and they would have had that same situation had it been whatever it was. In my opinion, at least.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw y'all had a cold quote about the word pillars on the Bulls commercial. What, you know what it was?
No, I haven't seen the commercial yet.
Oh, you haven't watched it?
I seen
not the Bulls. Was it the Bulls? Yeah, it was the Bulls commercial.
Right. So we had a different because they sent me like, you know, it's a lot of edits and stuff like that. Yeah. So, you know, obviously we filmed it a couple weeks ago. I seen a couple versions, but I haven't seen what they've been promoting.
Okay.
So
nice.
Hopefully I get a chance to see it next week.
Okay.
But yeah, I just haven't been able to see, you know, their version of it in terms of what they do on the radio or at the game or on TV. I haven't seen it yet.
Okay. So y'all started off on a street level selling T-shirts, pop-up shops. what majority of us do when we start clothing lines.
Right.
How did we go from there to a store, and how did we know it was time to open a store?
Right. So to kind of give you a little back history, when Pillars first started, I was actually living in Atlanta. Right. So I was
Right.
in Atlanta originally from here. So my core support system is here, but I was living in Atlanta. That's when I tapped in with Mike and the other people that you see involved. They were kind of like my street team in terms of like doing stuff on ground zero in Chicago. So like you said, doing all the pop-up shops, doing just selling to your friends, your family, all that kind of stuff. So we would continue to push that narrative, right? And pretty much do the same thing everybody else does, but we did it a lot more consistently. Like we was
Facts.
doing 2 or 3 pop-up shops a weekend.
Nice.
Sometimes 2 or 3 in a day.
Right.
That was a different time when pop-up shops was really,
Bussin'.
like really busting. Some wasn't as good as the other ones, but there was always a pop-up shop.
Even if you hit big on one, it was like it kind of balanced out the rest of
Yeah,
them anyway.
because you know what I mean. The thing is, like with pop-up shops, it's just about getting in front of people. Like when I was telling you about the yeses and the nos, we knew that we could sell our product. We just had to get it in front of people. You know what I'm saying? If enough people see it, somebody's going to buy it.
Facts.
That was always the idea behind it. And when we was at the crib and it's sitting in a tote, like no one's going to buy it because no one sees it and they don't know who we are.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So we got to put it out there. We got to show people it. And the more that we were able to do that, the better the result was.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So all right, so going from so we in the pop up shops, we busting, we working our ass off, we going to 3 pop up shops a weekend, which niggas ain't doing. I ain't doing that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that's a different level of effort right there. So I guess the number one thing would be the effort. You know what I'm saying? So y'all making money. How do we go into an actual store though?
Right. So I mean, it's not a quick transition, but kind of just summarizing it, like you said, we doing the pop up shops and we really not making money. You know what I'm saying? We selling product, but the thing about, you know what I'm saying, like fashion, you always got to have more new products, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can drop a new product today, and then tomorrow somebody asks me what I got new coming.
Exactly.
So you kind of always got to have more new something in the pipeline, and that costs money. You know what I mean? Because you got to put that cost up front and hope to get the stuff on the back end in terms of your profit.
Yeah.
So even when we making money, we not, because we got to pay for the future stuff. You know what I'm saying? But the goal was always to just make it sustainable and make it be able to kind of take care of the stuff that we wanted to take care of.
Yeah.
And that wasn't looking right with, doing the pop-up shops and stuff. So we were always on a growth scale.
Right.
So when I was deciding, okay, it's time to open a store, I just took it as, if we do a pop-up shop, we make this much money, right? What's the average pop-up shop cost that you do?
Probably $70 on average.
$70,
$50 and $100.
A decent one, $100.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That was a couple years ago.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, cool. If I could do a pop-up shop every day, I would make probably this much money.
Right.
That's literally what a store is.
Okay.
Right. So if you're paying $100 for a pop-up shop and you do that every day, you can afford a $3,000 store.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? In terms of just base rent.
Yeah.
So that was my goal in terms of, I know if I go to a pop-up shop, I'm going to make some money.
Right.
I need to create a situation where I got a daily pop-up shop.
Okay.
And that equaled the store.
And what the first store was doing on 87th?
First store was in the West Loop.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice. So that's like the flagship.
Yep, that was the first one.
Okay. All right. So you got you scale up. So basically, even are you taking money out? And I think this is the key to the scaling thing, in my opinion. You could correct me if I'm wrong, but I think for a lot of us, we not managing the money right. We taking money out. We taking our profit out and we spending it. So it's like, if just for simple numbers, we start off with $100 and we got 5 T-shirts. We sell the 5 T-shirts, make $200, and then spend $100, and then go back with another $100 and get 5 more T-shirts.
Right.
And I think that's the problem a lot of times.
Right.
You know
Well, that's not a scaling equation, right?
Exactly.
But everyone has a different a different situation. And I
Right.
think we talk about that all the time. The first thing is going to be what are you looking for?
Yeah.
Right? So we got to figure out what is the goal. I can't ask you for directions. Well, I can ask you for directions, but you can't give me directions unless you know my destination.
Well, I'm trying
You
to go.
got to know where I'm trying to go to tell me how to get there.
Exactly.
Right? So somebody that's doing what you're doing might not be trying to get to where I'm going. They might just want to cover their bills,
Right.
which is what that is doing, right? So that can be a perfect situation for them. Like
Yeah.
for us, it was we want to create this huge situation, and taking money out didn't help
It don't
that.
make
You know what I
sense.
mean?
Yeah.
That doesn't get us to where we want to go, so we can't do it. But if I was in a situation like, okay, cool, I just want to pay my bills with this, and then my job would be, my play money or whatever the case.
Right.
If I get it to that situation, it makes perfectly good sense. So there's
Yeah.
no wrong way to do it. It's just everybody goes is different. So with
Absolutely.
ours, we wanted to, and we're still in the growth stage, man. Started in 2016. So, we still in the growth stage. So constantly reinvesting.
Okay. Okay. So at what point do you feel like is even in the formula that y'all have? At what point do you say, okay, I'm gonna take something out and enjoy this? Like, what's the mind state behind that?
We just started paying ourselves this year. Well, last year. So 2021 was my first year doing like a payroll. Right.
Okay.
So you coming in, if you was in 2016, 17, 18, 19, 20, 5 years, like, wasn't no paychecks.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I would take money out if I needed to do something that I needed to do. But in terms of like the company or the organization and the people involved, nobody was getting paid.
So let me ask you this, and this is just like a mind state thing, because I think most of this, that's what it's really about, is mind state. So it's just like, how do you know what I'm saying, by 5 years in, y'all had what, 3 stores?
5 years in would be, that's 221.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we just opened our
4th.
Yeah.
So y'all got 3 stores, meaning the money is coming in, it's there, everybody see it. What's the mind state, and how do you keep everybody on the same page? It's like, hey, even though it's a lot of bread around this motherfucker, we ain't buying no cars, we ain't buying no chains, we ain't, you know what I'm saying? Like, how do you make a nigga look at $1 million and be like, nah, bro, just chill? Like,
the first thing was like my lifestyle didn't change, right? So like, if mine don't change, yours can't change,
right?
Like, so, and I tell people this all
Just
the
by
time,
example.
like my lifestyle didn't change. You know what I mean? Like, for 6 years, I mean, it still hasn't. You know what I mean? Like, I got a new car, but also had a decent car before. You know what I mean? Like, I got a decent crib, but also had a decent crib before. You know what I'm saying? So like, everybody was staying where they was at. You know what I'm saying? Wasn't nobody moving.
Right.
Versus kind of just like, okay, you see me taking off, and I'm just like, okay, I got y'all. You know what I'm saying? But I'm like the first one.
Yeah.
I'm leading from the front at that time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And as things progress, now I start to try to lead from the back. But I think that's the most important thing, is just like, but I ain't really got nobody that's, you know what I'm saying, in my situation that's just, that type of person.
Yeah,
Because
that's hard to
they
find,
know that they know the potential. And when you got a check, you know what I'm saying, everybody check written. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you win this, you just waiting. You know what I'm saying? It's like a payday, like you wait on your payday. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we kind of feel like, okay, cool. I put my investment in, which was my time. You know what I mean? Because like some people that's involved, it wasn't a requirement to come with money. You know what I'm saying? You invested time. And then you gotta let that time sit so it can allocate, and then we can get our investment out of it, and then you can get your return. Absolutely. So the people, like, the people that's involved, their investment into the company was time. Yeah. Right. And you gotta let that cook before we can pay you out.
Absolutely. That's dope as fuck, bro. That's dope as fuck. Cause I don't like. I mean, it's dope that you got that many people in your network that's like that. Cause I don't even know too many people that could just wait it out. Like, people when it come to money, bro. You already know it. People get real emotional, real impatient, and things like that.
But like you said, like, we
so
wasn't
dope.
doing that type of money. You know what I mean? We just really started like breaking barriers and cracking chains. But when we was doing pop-up shops, we wasn't doing, $1 million.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So
Like,
everybody pretty much had jobs and was just
everybody
trying to
had jobs, you know what I
work
mean?
it out.
And as the company grew, we started pulling people from their jobs. So I was, kind of always doing my thing. And then when I brought my partner on, you know what I'm saying? Like, he didn't quit his job immediately.
Yeah.
We didn't get him to quit his job until we opened the store. You know what I mean? Because I said, I'm not going to open a store until you can give me your time. You know what I'm saying? So it took a couple years for us to kind of see if we had what we needed to make something happen, right? Because he had a pretty solid job at the time.
Yeah.
And
so you got to make sure he right. Like,
you know what I mean?
walking away from a real
I gotta have the
situation.
confidence to say, hey, man, it's time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then he got to kind of have the confidence of me to say, all right, cool. You know what I mean? Because, you got a kid at the time. You know what I'm saying? You've been working at this job for X amount of years. You're in a manager position. You know what I'm saying? I had guys that was getting offered promotions and stuff like that. So they really had to have supreme confidence in the opportunity that I was trying to build for them. So, but it was cool because I didn't have to convince them because they seen it.
Yeah.
Right? They seen the potential there and they like, okay, cool. So I didn't have to really convince anybody because I had the people kind of right next to me and they knew like, hey, this gonna be something. We got something here. So I'm gonna stick with it.
Okay, so to me, it sounds like if I had to take away some keys to scaling your business, it sounds like number one is the effort, that like supreme effort of just really grinding to get shit done because 3 pop-up shops in the weekend, I don't know nobody doing that. You know what I'm saying? So the effort to build a foundation, I would say the second thing is the mind state. You know what I'm saying? To say I ain't taking no bread out and seeing the long term, seeing the big vision. Third, I would say is having the right team around you. Because some of the best advice I ever got from shout out to Vic out in LA. He was like, you got to delegate to elevate. You only gonna go so far by yourself. You know what I'm saying? And if you're trying to get somewhere big, it's just not gonna happen with you. You can't wear every hat. It's so many, ins and outs to a business, and you just can't do it all on your own.
It's truth to that, man. And I'm really just getting to that stage because, like when you create something and it's yours, it's gonna take time for you to kind of release it.
Yeah.
But because honestly, like, I'm trying to do a better job at that. So, but you also have to stay engaged. That's one thing that I don't kind of recommend, but it's possible, right? So when we talk about business, and I always say it's no wrong way to run a business, right? You can run your business however you want to, and I can do mine however I want to. And there's no right or wrong way, right? It's your way and it's my way.
Yeah.
So a lot of people that I speak to about business, they want to create something and not be involved in it. And I tell them, I don't know how to do that. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because I work every day for mine.
Right.
So if that's something you want, you like, man, I want to create a clothing line and I just wanted to kind of do all these numbers and I don't want to do anything else. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't help you.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how to do that. Like, I know how to kind of run it up and make sure it does what it needs to do, but you're going to have to be the one doing it.
Yeah.
So it kind of go back when we was talking about, like, delegation. That is something. But the first thing is, like, even before you get a team, it starts with you. You got to be your LeBron. You got to be your Tom Brady. You got to be your GOAT. Yeah. A lot of people say, oh, it's only me. It's only you when you taking that 3, you at the free throw line and hit the game winner, right? You got to have a star player. Right. You know what I'm saying? And the team, not to say, obviously you can't make it without your team, but you still got to carry the weight. Yeah. So, like, if you're not the star, then you got to get one. But 9 times out of 10, the star player going to have his own team.
Right. And I think that's the thing about when my homie first told me you got delegates to elevate, I'm like, damn, like, who could I get that's dependable to do this? Who can I get that's dependable to do that? And then when I look at people who had that type of effort, they already got something going on. So it's like, how do you find that? You know what I'm saying?
So, like I said, the first thing is you got to be you. And you going to track, like, people going to see what you're doing. Like, I ain't really reach out to nobody but my partner. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, hey, man. And the reason that I reached out with him was just on some, he had seen something in me a long time ago where, like, I was messed up. I'll do XYZ. And I hit him up like, hey, I just lost all the money I had. I need $10,000. I need $5,000.
Good friend.
And he just
That's
like, you know what I'm saying? He like, all right, cool.
Right.
It was right before I graduated college. I went to Eastern. We used to drive to Chicago and go to the casino, right? So it was like in the summertime, right before I graduated. I didn't even paid all my rent. We was roommates. You know what I'm saying? I had like $6,000-$7,000 on the rent. But I went to the casino. It's a long couple day trip.
Right.
Stuff ain't work out right. And I'm just like, hey man.
Right.
Stuff ain't work out right. You know what I'm saying? I need you to make this happen. And he was like, all right, cool. Made it happen. And every time I had like an idea in terms of a business, like, hey, I know a way we can make some money, he was always like, I bet. So I'm just like, okay, cool. I rock with people that kind of see what I see in myself and me. They like, I don't know what he doing, but I know it's gonna work because he gonna make it work. You know what I'm saying? There ain't really been a lot of situations where I call somebody and say, hey, I know how we can make some money, and they lost money.
Right.
Now I done lost a lot of money, but when I call you and say, hey, I know how we can make some money. You good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And he kind of realized that he ain't never lost no money with me. And I'm like, okay, cool. So you good.
Yeah.
So when it was time to kind of make some real money, he was locked in. And then everybody else just kind of fell in line, like, because my track record kind of spoke for itself. Yeah. Like, whatever he doing, I'm going to do that too.
Yeah.
And I respect people that kind of just see that, because it's in, everyone should be able to see it, right? All the people that I'm around, all my network, they kind of already knew, but the people close to me, you kind of drop the ball if you ain't kind of see that and take advantage of it.
Yeah.
So the people that you see, they kind of seeing it, and they was like, yeah, we need a part of that. And I'm just like, all right, smart man, let's do it.
I want to highlight something that you said, right? So basically you said that you got this business, it's a clothing business. Mm-hmm. Your partner who you was bringing in, he wasn't in the clothing industry.
Oh.
He just believed in what you had going on.
Yep. It could have been anything. He was just like,
right?
Yeah, because it was like, what we gonna do? I'm like, this what we gonna do, and he like, all right, say no more.
Facts. And I think that's something that I'm learning, because like I said before, when I was trying to build a team around the podcast, well, I was trying to build a team around everything, but when I was trying to build a team around the podcast, I'm like, damn, everybody who know how to do media, who know how to edit, who know how to do this, they already in situations. You know what I'm saying? And I don't really got the money rolling in to just be paying somebody on a monthly, weekly basis to do XYZ for me. So I'm like, damn, I got Real and Boogie here. They kick it all the time. Now, I don't know if they into media or learning this or that, but you know what I'm saying? It just became clear to me, like, damn, they really rocking with what we got going on. So I'm like, why not just like, hey, bro, you know what I'm saying? Let me show you how to do this, and now I got an engineer. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So that's like a key. Like, that's a major key. You know what I'm saying? Like, to anybody out there that's trying to build a team, it's like you don't necessarily have to go get the best person in this field or whatever the case may be. Just get somebody who believe in what's going on, who willing to, you know what I'm saying, work with you.
Exactly. So you gotta have somebody that's dedicated to the situation. And then if you don't, they fall off and you get somebody else. But like you said, you don't really even know what you're trying to do. So y'all all learning together.
Facts.
You know what I mean? So
together,
if you get somebody that's been in it, you know what I mean? Yes, that might be a shortcut, but it also might be a hindrance, because if you the star player, you know what I'm saying, if it's your situation, that it really won't work out. You know what I'm saying? And that's another thing too, when you're talking about it, like, it's only one person that can drive a car.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you got one person that's in control of the wheel, you got your co-pilot that's in the passenger side, and then everybody else in the back seat.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or in the third row. Like, you can't drive from back there.
Yeah.
So if you trying to be a driver, you're going to have to get out the car.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so you got to know where you sitting at.
That's facts. It's a major key, man. So standing currently today, what is like the worth of the company right now?
The worth? You mean like if we was trying to sell it?
Yeah.
Well, how much? That's a tough question, right? So I had the evaluation. I think that's what you kind of are looking for. So we did an evaluation. Typically, an evaluation would be like 3x, 4x of your annual, right? So with our situation, it's a little difficult because we make as much money as we're able to make. And what I mean by that is, if I got the money, I can make more money.
Right.
right? So every year we double in terms of our revenue,
Yeah.
right? So we went from 50,000 year one to 100,000 year two to 300,000 year three to a million year four to 4 million year five.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, and that's just because we had more resources.
Right.
You know what I mean? So when people try to figure out like how much it's worth, you can only kind of go off of, what you got.
Right.
So say you do 4X, right? Say you do 4X of 4 million. That can be evaluation, but I wouldn't take 4X of 4 million.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
Because you might do that
yeah, I
next
could
year.
do that next year.
Yeah,
You
so
know what
why
I'm
would I
saying?
sell
So
it? Yeah.
like that'll be kind of, it's difficult. But
Yeah.
I think it was like they had us at like 9 million.
Okay.
And this was 2021.
And this is for
That was conservative. A conservative 9 million.
okay. And for a company that's been in business 5 years at the time,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? Like that's crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's crazy. So I mean, like, how do that even happen though? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Man, it's like you said, it's like that double up. It's that double up effect. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Compounding interest. You know what I'm saying? So like you take the 100 and you put the 100 back in. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? You get the 3. You put the 3 back in.
Right.
You know what I mean? Instead of taking out the half of it like you were saying. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's because you see the, you know what I'm saying, the more money that I have, the more product I have, the more money I can make.
How are you managing money as far as like, all right, when the money come in, boom. And I know the money is coming in, like it's not like it just hits at once. You know what I'm saying? You selling product and you buying product, you constantly selling and buying. But how do you manage that from the cash flow to say, okay, we're gonna put this much towards marketing? You know what I'm saying? We gotta have the money for the overhead. We gotta have these bills paid. We gotta have what else come with it. You know what I'm saying? You gotta re-up, buy more, you know what I'm saying, buy more product, pay your rent, do your marketing. What's some of the other bills that would be involved? And you got payroll now.
Honestly, and it just depends on your level because we wasn't really doing a lot of marketing. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? Like paid ads. So we really just started doing that this year. So
Right.
before then, the only thing it was just buying inventory, which is obviously the number one thing, and then paying rent.
Right.
And because, like I said, we didn't even have payroll.
Yeah.
So our biggest thing was always just not even rent. It was just inventory. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't make money unless you have inventory, and you always need new inventory. So
Right.
our inventory, invoices just become larger and larger and larger.
Yeah.
And it would just be like, man, we got to scrape up whatever money we can to get the next order.
Right.
Because that's like printing the money, right? So if I call them and say, hey, I need 1,000 hoodies, and I'm selling the hoodies for 100, you know what I'm saying? Like that's me printing, you know what I'm saying, the 100K.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then boom, they send me the 100K in product.
Yeah.
And now I need to, so my next order, I'm gonna need 5,000.
Right.
And then they just send me the 500K. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? So like that's how we was going at it. Our only thing was, man, we need to pay for the inventory. Everything else should pay for itself, right?
Right.
And rent ain't that much. Like we said, we just talked about $100 a day, $3,000.
Exactly.
That's the last of your words.
So to me, it seemed like one of the keys to that is like having that supreme confidence in your product, like knowing it's gonna sell.
No one is gonna sell. Like
You
I
know what
said
I'm saying?
from the jump, we knew if we get it in front of enough people, somebody gonna buy it.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I think that might be one of my setbacks with buying inventory is like how much of this do I actually think I'm gonna sell?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
What's the mind state behind that?
It was never an end in sight. From day one, it wasn't like, oh, that's too much because I'm be doing this for the rest of my life. You know what I mean?
Right.
So like
somebody gonna buy this.
you know what I mean? You gonna have it. You gonna have it to sell, and then once you really get into the business, you understand that you need products, right? So when you walk into a store, a Walmart, a Target, a Balenciaga, or a Nike store, whatever, it's full of options. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta have inventory.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have stuff that sells better, that's new, that's old, but you know what I'm saying, you gotta fill up your store.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like there's no such thing as too much. You know what I'm saying? Like you can always do something with it. Right. And then you know what it cost you and you know what you're gonna sell it for.
Right.
So it's never a loss. Even
Right.
if you want to put it on sale. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? You still build your equity in it.
I think one of the tips you gave me before when we was talking about this was you said if you buy whatever you buy something for, you should be selling it like times 3 should be the minimum of what you're selling it
The
for.
minimum.
And you said if you put it on sale, you could put it at times 2. So if you buy a t-shirt for 10, you selling it for 30. If it go on sale, you sell it for 20. You still double your money.
You still double your money. And there's a lot of theories. Like I said, there's no wrong way. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody that I looked up to in the business world, he told me to sell at cost. You know what I'm saying? To acquire customers. You know what I mean? So if it costs you $10, sell it for $10. You know what I'm saying? And get a lot of them. Now I tuned you into my brand, and now the next one I can sell it to you for XYZ.
All right.
But you know what I'm saying? Once you really operating at a high level, that 3X, you're gonna be selling for 10X, 20X, 30X, 100X. You know what I mean?
Right.
Once you kind of get the customers that you need.
Right. So let me ask you this, because I was told this, and I'm gonna pick your brain about it. Going back to selling something that costs, how do you feel about how much an item costs in terms of how it makes the brand look?
Right.
Because let's say like I feel like Skechers, for example, could never sell a $400 shoe because niggas who wear $400 shoes don't wear Skechers, and niggas who wear Skechers don't buy $400 shoes. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, it's like if you start selling, if I come out with a t-shirt line, I'm selling it for $10. I'm gonna hire $10 customers, and then if I say, bam, I got this $50 t-shirt, who is people gonna look at it like, nigga, that $10 like this brand not worth? They gonna look, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they gonna do that play. And like I said, a lot of this stuff is just gonna be a personal opinion, right? So there's no right or wrong way to do it. It's just my way, and then it's your way. But we all face that problem when we creating a brand. You know what I'm saying? Like you talking about perceived value. You know what I'm saying? But you also have to have brand recognition. So the same stuff that I'm selling today for $250 is the same stuff that I was selling at pop-up shops that was marked at 60, but nobody would pay that, so we had to bring it down to 40.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So this is the same hoodie. You know what I'm saying? That we was begging people to pay 60 for, and they like, I got 40 for you. And we was like, all right, bet, I'll take it.
Right.
And then today, you know what I'm saying, that hoodie might be 120, it might be 150. We got hoodies all the way up to 220 right now. It's our most expensive sweatshirt, but it's that perceived value, what you gotta earn, and there's no L in you selling it at year one for 40, but you only paid 20 for it.
Right.
And then in year 4, now you recouping because you got that customer, and now they see like, okay, the brand is growing, they have confidence in it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You have confidence in the product, which you didn't have year 1.
Yeah.
Right? So when you got your team, they like, man, I'm not gonna let that money walk away. You know what I'm saying? When they offering you a deal, you willing and dealing. You at the pop-up shop and you ain't made no money. Somebody be like, I got 40.
Right.
But you really want 60. And you like, all right, cool. But you ain't, you know what I'm saying? You don't have to stick with that. You could do that then because it's in that situation, but you can grow out of that situation. You know what I'm saying? So yesterday's price, not today's price.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? So like then we needed to do that. And then once we realized, okay, cool, we got to create a new culture. So then we gonna stop doing that. So at some point we decided we gonna have to let the money walk away because we want to have a consistency in XYZ.
Would you ever give yourself a salary?
Yeah, I got a salary just for tax purposes.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But
that salary low key still going back in, or
no, that's a salary is like when we started the payroll, right? That gets distributed to me.
right?
But you know what I'm saying? If you were an owner, technically on the back end, like say I was like, okay, cool, my salary is $60,000. You know what I'm saying? So every month or every 2 weeks I would get a check. But if you own a company, you gonna still have XYZ on the back end. But you can, the salary will help you with like, you go get a house, something like that. You ain't gotta like get them all your business. You just be like, I got a job, I make this much money.
Got you. What would be the mind state behind like? And I know, like you just said, it's still like a back end, so the salary don't really matter as much. Right. But like, what would be your formula for actually like making that salary though?
Man, I just be doing whatever. I'm like, shit, like, this is what I deserve. I'm like, man, this is a cool salary. You know what I'm saying? Right. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, like if stuff get tight, I just won't pay myself. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
Because I still get it on the back end. So it's been situations where, you know what I'm saying, I set myself a salary and then stuff got tight. You know what I'm saying? I cut my check.
Let's talk about a brand like we talk about perceived value,
Mm-hmm.
right? So let's talk about a brand like Huron Preston, which I know the owner of that had another venture in fashion before that, but like gallery department. It seemed like but it seemed like I would accredit it to the internet. It's brands that pop up out of nowhere, and the shit is like $400 for a T-shirt,
Yes, sir.
and because people don't know where it came from, but they saw a rapper in it, that T-shirt is valid. It's for like it's stamped
sir.
like that
Yes,
T-shirt is
sir.
$400, and if you wear that, then it's kind of like it's kind of like a self-esteem thing or like
Yeah.
it's like a status symbol. Like I got a $400 T-shirt on, I got it type shit. Like how does that happen? You know what I'm saying?
It's systematic, man, and it's by design, right? So you talk about gallery department. Obviously, you got like you said, it seemed like it popped up out of nowhere. You got somebody that probably got the resources and the opportunity to like create products, but you need a face, right? So you don't really got a face with it. But then I think they put it on Offset. You know what I'm saying? Got him to co-sign it,
Yeah,
and then you know what I'm saying, like perceived value. When you got a heavy influencer like that, that's just a layup. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
You got him and then you got his old lady. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? And then, but he's also kind of like a top end pioneer in terms of like fashion and stuff
right.
offhand. So when you just got that much influence, it's gonna happen regardless. So that's a rare case, but you throw anything on like a Kim Kardashian, Amigo,
It's up
Carly
there.
B, you know what I'm saying? You really can't lose.
Absolutely, absolutely. Is that something that you like would go for?
Man, it's something that you struggle with because you like, man, you like, man, you know what I'm saying? Like I see it too. Like I see somebody with the gallery department, right? $600, $700 t-shirts, you know what I'm saying? Like $1,200 hoodies. And I'm just like, dang. You know what I'm saying? Because it's really
Yeah.
basic wear, not to hate on it, but it's, you know what I'm saying?
It's a
It's
T-shirt.
basic, right? It's a
Yeah.
t-shirt. Some of them got like splash paint on it, you know what I'm saying? Which is in a new concept.
All
You
right.
know what I'm saying? Like the quality of the garments is not necessarily like the best. The cuts aren't, like super crazy, but it's packaged very well, which
Yeah.
is, it's a lot of things that matter when someone is purchasing things. And I learned that at the pop up shop, you know what I'm saying, very quickly. I would go to a pop up shop and I would be next to somebody else and they would sell more than me. And
Yeah.
I'm just like, my shit better than this. You know what I'm
Facts.
saying?
Facts.
Like, why are these
Yeah.
people not buying this instead of that?
Yeah.
But it's a lot of stuff that goes into it and not just the product.
Is it an end goal for Pillars, or is it just like basically we gonna ride the system out and take it wherever it needs to go?
That changes, man. Like if you talk to my guys, they'll be like, I just do whatever, man, feels right, man. I take advantage of opportunities. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like people be like, man, one thing pop up, then the next thing. That's just because it came across the table and it made sense, and we did it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like we just kind of just flowing right now, bro. Like kind of just seeing what happened. If my phone ring and somebody call with an opportunity and it makes sense and it kind of we got the resources and the time to do it and it moves us forward, then I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take a shot at it.
Yeah.
So my main goal is just to kind of streamline stuff because I've been
Right.
kind of working us like thin. You know what I'm
What
saying?
do you
Like,
mean streamline stuff?
make stuff easier. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like, you know
Just
what I
come
mean?
up
We
with
got the
systems.
stores. Like, we got to get enough help in there. Everybody understaffed right now. So,
Yeah.
like, we work every day. You know what I'm saying? Like, our stores are open 7 days a week.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's 4 locations. You know what I'm saying? So, the people that's involved, like, you don't got that break time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can't just go.
What do you feel like is the hardest part about running the store? I know them shipping orders be crazy. I seen y'all doing that. I seen you actually printing
Yeah.
out shipping labels
Yeah.
yourself.
So, that's back end. We don't do that in store.
Right.
But the hardest thing is just showing up every day.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because, like I said, like, bro, we opened our first store March 19. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that store was open every day until like the shutdowns. You know what I'm saying? And even on some big holidays, you know what I'm saying, we still might do like 4 or 5 hours
Right.
just because we're able to do it. And the main thing is just being available to our customer.
Yeah.
Right. So a lot of times when people create businesses, they work when they feel like it. Right. And that was something that wasn't a successful situation to me, right? When I looked at stores that I wanted to kind of be like, they was just open. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't like, oh, we're only open on Saturday from 12 to 3. You know what I'm saying? Like,
they was open.
yeah, they just open. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? We gonna let you decide when you want to come in.
Yeah.
We'll be waiting for you.
Right,
You know what I'm
right,
saying?
right.
Like, oh, it's the event this way. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta have that commitment, right? So it's a big jam. I want to close early,
Yeah.
but all your customers want to come late. You know what I mean? So they can get their fit or whatever like that. So just having a real life and having a business at the same time is kind of difficult. But that's the hardest part, is just being there for people when they need you to instead of when you want to be.
Absolutely. What's like a key piece of advice you would give to somebody who is starting a clothing line right now and have the same goal of scaling it all the way up though, like that?
Consistency. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta have the drive and you gotta have the consistency. You know what I'm saying? Before anything else, you don't need nothing else besides the drive, the will to, you know what I'm saying, just be like, I'm gonna make it happen. Right? So if you had supreme confidence in yourself, you wouldn't be in a rush. Right? So on your bad days, you know you're gonna come out with the win, so you ain't tripping.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So what I tell people is kind of like, say if somebody told you, hey man, in 5 years you're gonna be a millionaire.
Right.
Every day you just gonna be like, oh, I ain't tripping, I'm gonna be a millionaire. You might be working a horrible job or whatever it is. Like, if you knew that you was gonna be a millionaire, you wouldn't trip on none of the stuff that went down. You know what I'm saying? Till you to get there. And that's like literally how it was, bro. Like, when I was working them jobs, like, I knew I was gonna run it up. I just didn't know when or where, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I just knew, like, okay, cool.
It's on the way.
Once we started this, I'm like, okay, this is it. Now I know that it's gonna be this. I just gotta do them days. Like, we still got days where nobody come in the store.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We still got days where, you know what I'm saying, we have like struggle and numbers, and you know, it's always gonna be a struggle, but that's just one day.
Right.
Then we got days where we can't get nobody out the store.
That's big to say. Like, I got this company that was just had a conservative evaluation at $9 million, and I still got days people don't come in the store, because it's a lot of times, like, as an entrepreneur, you don't make no money, you be overly discouraged. So to hear somebody say that is just like, well, shit.
Because
what am I getting discouraged for? Man. You know, this nigga got $9 million company, and he ain't. You know what I'm saying?
It's crazy because even like, because then it's like you start really looking like, man, you know what I'm saying? You used to doing X amount of dollars a day. So it might even be worse that you're doing it when you deeper in, because now you feel it. You know what I'm saying? You're like, what the hell? You know what I'm saying? Because you planning for X, Y, Z, and that money just turned off. But you know what I'm saying? It's seasons, so you got to be able to kind of like weather those storms, and it's runs to it, and it's a lot of other stuff. But for sure, bro, we still like, that's right now. You know what I'm saying? Like right after the holidays.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like during the pandemic, during, you know what I'm saying, X, Y, Z. New Year's,
shit
Christmas, stuff slow.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you see it.
So, what do y'all plan on, like, expanding the brand in any type of way coming up soon? Like, as far as like maybe baby clothes, kids clothes, like, you know what I'm saying, coats, all that type of stuff.
Yeah, so we had kids. We tried the kids things when we first opened our first store, but we was ahead of our time. You know what I'm saying? In terms of like, we didn't have a customer. You know what I'm saying? So like, having all those ideas is cool, but like creating that product at the in the quantities that we have to create it at, you know what I'm saying? We have to wait till our customer is there. You know what I'm saying? Like, once you're able and willing to purchase these things, right? Because everybody have an idea like, oh, you should sell this. You know what I'm saying? But then when you get it, it's not flying off the shelf. Right? Like, yeah, you should have kid clothes, but when we bought kids clothes, nobody was buying them. Or they wasn't buying them fast enough. You know what I mean? So we had to like stop that. And I mean, we're entertaining it now. Like, we're a lot bigger than when we first opened. But even with like the coats and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? Like, that price point is a heftier price point. You know what I'm saying? Do we have enough customers to purchase it at the rate we need it to be purchased for us to invest in that product? Yeah. So that's the kind of stuff you got to look at when you thinking about introducing new items. You got to kind of educate your person, your customer, and they got to be willing to kind of move on it in the speed that you need to be moved on.
Facts. What's some other Chicago brands that kind of like that you looked at the way that people look at Pillars right now? People with up and coming brands, people with startup brands is looking at Pillars like, how the fuck did they do that? You know what I'm saying? Like,
I didn't really look at no brands. Like I said, when I started the brand, I was in Atlanta.
Yeah.
So I looked at every brand in Chicago, period, right?
Yeah.
I was just looking to see what people was buying. So like, you know what I'm saying, like Sweat Spots do, obviously Geeks. I was seeing like Rich, so I was seeing Gravy. I was seeing all the people that I know now. I was on their pages before I even hit the city. You know what I'm saying? They tapped into knew who these people was. Just seeing, okay, who's selling clothes. And then I would go deeper and be like, who's buying their clothes, right? So they post their customer, I click on their customer page. You know what I'm saying? Go down their page, see what kind of stuff they wearing. Are they just wearing their brand? They wearing multiple people brand? I'm just like super into that kind of stuff, right? So I was tapped into everything. So I might meet you and be like, oh, okay, cool. You're like, oh, I'm rich, so I already kind of know. But,
facts.
you know what I'm saying? What's going on? And then, you know what I'm saying? You don't really know about our brand, but I had respect in that matter, you know what I'm saying? Just coming in to kind of educate myself on what it was people was buying. But it's nobody that kind of do the things we do the way we do it. So, you know what I mean? It wouldn't even be fair to kind of compare.
Facts. Understood. I mean, what you want to leave us with anything else? Any tips? Any more game for us? Anything I might have missed?
Nah. But I definitely want to kind of just revisit the thing. Like I say, it's no wrong way to do it. You just got to be committed, right? So if you committed, whether it takes you 1 year or it takes you 5 years, 10 years, you know what I mean? Like, you gonna get your result that you're looking for. It's hard to put 100% in and fail. You know what I'm saying? And when you put 100% in, you know what I'm saying? Like, you taking a test, you read the book, you got supreme confidence that you read that book 10 times. No matter what test you would take, you would know, like, I'm going to pass that test.
Yeah.
Right? If I read a book 10 times, you could test me all you want. I'm going to pass it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because I know I did everything I needed to do to be successful.
Right.
And that's the same thing you got to do with business. You got to do everything you can to be successful, and you can't fail.
Right.
Put 100% in, and you can't fail at nothing.
All right, man. I think we pretty much covered all the bases. You know what I'm saying? Effort, mindset, building the team, and I don't know. Y'all might have to rewind and figure out the other key.
Yeah.
But I can't think of it off top. But you
of
definitely gave us a lot of information, so I definitely appreciate you sliding. What's up next for Pillars, man? Is it the 6th, 7th, 8th store already in motion, man? Y'all already building out? What's up?
We got a couple more locations that we trying to make a situation happen. So, I mean, it just depends on timing. You know what I'm saying? Availability. Yeah. It's a lot of places we would like to go, but, you know, you got to kind of have that right spot open up. You know what I'm saying? So, you might see at least one new store in 2022 for sure. But everything else, we want to kind of just tighten up.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? So, we've been kind of doing a lot of stuff for a long time. Now, we got our system in place. You know what I'm saying? Our systems, our groundwork, you know what I'm saying? Now we want to create a process to kind of just make our jobs easier.
Yeah.
So that's the next thing, man, is just to continue to, you know, pump out volume, create dope items, and make it easier for us to do the same stuff we've been doing.
All right, bet. This series is a Black History Month series. We definitely want to celebrate the people, the legends from the past. We also want to educate everybody right now. And we want to, we creating our own new legends right now. You know what I'm saying? And Weaver is definitely killing the fashion game in Chicago. And the way that they're scaling their company is something that I've never seen. I don't know. It's probably breaking all type of records and shit like that. Like it's crazy. So that's definitely something that we don't gotta wait 50 years to talk about this for Black History Month. We can talk about it right now as it's happening. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate you for coming through again. And everybody that's out there watching, stay locked in with our Black History series, man.
That's what's up.